So on our database, we're getting quite a few advanced features up. We've got our table of data, and we should have some queries that search for different items. So the next stage is to make a report, which is effectively a list, a nicely formatted list of information that you can email or print off. So rather than your table, which just looks like a set of data, okay, lists of information, your reports will look kind of nicer. They will look a bit nicer. They will look prettier. You generally print them off, but you might email them to somebody as well. So to make a report, we need to decide whether we want it on a table, a query, or a query. So I'm going to choose a query. I'm going to choose this one here. That's less than the year 2000. So before the year 2000, it's a U or a 12 certificate, because I've got 4 records in there. Usually you want at least 3 or 4 records to make it worthwhile in terms of having a report. Now, creating a report, rather the first stage of creating a report, is really, really, really simple. You select what you want. So here I've got this one, this query. You click create at the top, and then you click the first one, which is report. And there it is. The report is done. You can see it's sitting there, and it looks a little bit nicer than the table of data we had before. Now, what you probably want to do with it is change the colors, the styles, the designs. Before you think about changing colors and styles, remember you put these underscores in because you want to find it easier to label, and we use the underscores because of the way that the program works with the code that we're not touching. But if there's a space in it, sometimes it thinks it's more than one item. So I would suggest you want to change these titles. So query less than 2000. So I'm going to change that to movies. Right. You or 12 for 2000. Okay, and there we go. So movies that are U or 12 before 2000 says a little bit more about what the query is. I'm going to go to these, and I'm going to get rid of these underscores. Ready. This is looking a little bit nicer. We've got rid of the underscores, and it's looking a bit better. So the next stage is you might want to change the colors and the styles. Okay. Now, if we go up to here, we've got arrange, format, page setup, and we've got the design section. So I'm going to click on format. Now, if I click on a box, these become available, and they're your standard sort of Word or PowerPoint kind of icons to change the type of text. Okay, so let's change that maybe to Arial. The color of the text, the background color of the box itself. Okay, and whether you want them bold, underlined, or whatever. There is 2 different features here in that's just a box. That blue line is a section. Okay, so we click to the side, we get a section. If we click on the individual item, we can change that as well. So if I go to here and I click this button, I get that section. And you can go through all of these and change the colors. I'm not going to do too much to them. Other than do this. Actually, these colors are really horrible, but it's just to show you that you can do that, and you can play about with them, and you can change the colors and the styles of them should you want to. Another thing you can do is add in an image. Okay, and you've got this section here which has got an image in it. Okay, and that image comes up as a little book. It's just an automatically inserted book. Or sort of folder. So what you've got on the right hand side is a property sheet. If yours does not have a property sheet, click on the design on these report layout tools and make sure property sheet is selected. That's how you turn it on or off. You'll notice there that it might be under data with control source, but that there is a tab called format. Now under the format tab, there is something that says picture, and it will say image. Okay, and when you drop down, there's nothing in there. I've clicked off. So we would want to get an image for that. So I'm going to get an image. I'm going to go onto my Google, and I'm going to search for a film reel. Okay, unfortunately, you can't copy and paste this, but what you can do is download an image. So that's quite a nice film reel. One thing you should always do, and I've told you a lot about images, is to click on view image and then right click save image as, and I am going to go backwards on here to my schemes of learning J5, and I'm going to save my film reel into there. And then now I've saved it, if I click the three dots for image, it will ask me to find it. So I am in my schoolwork in my St. Oliver's folder. Obviously mine will be slightly different, organised to yours. And oh, we're doing something we shouldn't be doing there. That's okay. I've just copied maths over accidentally, but that doesn't matter. So I'm going to find my image, creating databases, and there's my film reel image. So I click OK, and it comes up, and you can only see a teeny tiny little bit of it. That is because the picture type is embedded. So I'm going to roll down to the, sorry, not the picture type is embedded. I completely apologise. It's the size mode I want. So embedded is fine. I want to go down to zoom. Okay, and that will zoom out to just that film reel. Now, if I don't like the size of that, and I think I want that a little bit bigger, I'm going to click on the edge, and I'm going to drag it a bit wider, and that will get bigger. It will always stay the right proportions. It won't kind of drag. If you want it to not be the right proportions, you have to put stretch, and then that will fill the square. The problem with that is if I drag it like that, it squishes. Whereas I much prefer zoom, because zoom keeps the right proportions. Okay? And basically, once you've done that, and you've put your colours in, you've put your styles in, you've made a nice little printable list, which you could print off. We're not going to print off, but you could print off. If we go to close it, it will ask us if we want to save, or it should do. Yes, I do. And I'm going to keep the name the same, but I'm going to change the first starting to RPT. Now, this is a really important bit, because this is why we do those things at the start, why we do that sort of kind of prefix to everything, because you'll notice the query and the report have the same thing in them, so I'm giving the same name, but the only way I would know if it was in a list which was the report and which was the query was by these three letters at the start. So that is why we do that. Okay, so now I've done that, I've got a report. If I click on that report, that is what my report will look like, and I can print that out. I could email that to somebody, and it looks a lot nicer than a list of data does. So have a go at adding some reports into your database.